Now, our guest co-host today is a man on a mission when it comes to sustainability. Please welcome the co-founder, CEO of Circa Biotech, Dr. Haythem Riahi, who joins us live here on the sofa and on the show. Doc, good to have you on board.
Thank you for having me today.
As we've been discussing, that conversation about sustainability is not a new conversation. We've been having it for many, many years, but it does seem to have gathered pace and gathered precedence in recent years. From where you sit, where you stand and where you work at the moment, where are we at with regards to the implications and applications of sustainability and the conversation that people are having?
Yeah. Currently, when people talk about sustainability, you can put its overarching theme, like there's a lot that you can put inside. Honestly, I prefer talking about circular economy. What we are producing today is food, clothes, cars. It's linear. We produce, consume, and then discard. And we cannot continue this way. So we have one planet, one resource, and we are like getting into the system to be tired. So what we need to do is introduce more circularity, where we don't discard, we reuse, we reinvent, we do something else with it. If we take the food as a system, the food production system, we have people starving in a lot of parts of the world. We have people that do not have access to food, but globally, we are wasting 1/3 of the food that we are producing globally. So there's a way, by using circularity, by using recycling, to reduce our waste and to have a more efficient use of what we are producing. I took the example of food, but it could be textile, clothing, it could be cars, it could be manufacturing, electronics. It's the same idea.
Dr. Haythem, we touched on it earlier that it's very much individuals and their choices that are made around the world. At what point do we move past that phase of wanting to make sure and ensure the systems are really working in the right direction? Or do you think that responsibility will never end?
It's the responsibility of everyone. When I say everyone, it means every entity. So us as consumers, governments, corporates, SMEs, we are all responsible, but nobody is accountable. And this is where it doesn't really seems like we are progressing. So everyone has its responsibility. The government responsibility and the government entities in general, their responsibility is to put the legal framework for do that. I will give you an example from my own life. So first time I came here to the UAE, it was 2008. I went in a car with people and my first reflex was to put my seat belt on. And they were laughing because they didn't ignite the engine and I was already putting my seat belt. And of course we went to the right and nobody was putting the seat belt, including the driver, and they were laughing. So that was 2008. I come to live in the UAE in 2014, that's 6 years later, which is short. 6 years later, nobody was laughing about that. Everybody was putting the seatbelt on. It became a reflex. Why? Because there was a legal framework. There was legislation, there was sanction, and it became a habit. It became something that we don't even question because we also understood, because with the regulation, there were also education that goes with it. So people understand that it's for their own good that they are putting their seatbelt on. So if we translate this into sustainability and circular economy, so yes, the government and government entities, they have their role playing into putting the right framework, the legislation that allows that. Corporation, they talk the language of finance, of money, of benefits. So how to make circularity, sustainability, economically sustainable, economically viable. So for them, because a company exists when it makes money, only when it makes money. So if we make sustainability and circular economy economically viable, the adoption with the regulation will be faster. And then the last layer is the consumer layer. So when the consumer have all of that, the change of behavior with the education will come quicker than we thought. And
True.
we see in some places in the world that happen.
Since today we're talking about sustainability, and I think it's one of the key pillars of Circa Biotech as well, and you're leading in a lot of innovations, especially with the black soldier flies. So can you please tell us more about Circa Biotech, and of course about the innovation that you've started with using the black soldier flies as well?
Yeah, people get scared when I talk about it.
Yeah,
We
it's
are
very interesting.
using, we work
You have my
Because
attention.
people don't
Yeah.
know that. And
in a
it's very
nutshell,
good
what we
to talk
do
about it.
is we transform food waste into sustainable aviation fuel using insects. So this is a bioconversion. We have a factory in a line. We process 6,000 tons a year of food waste. So we receive the food waste. We give it to this small insect, it's a fly, that at the larvae stage, when they are larvae, they eat a lot. They eat voraciously. So they eat all the food waste that we give them, the 6,000 tons, in 10 days. And then we harvest those insects, extract protein that we turn into animal feed, very important for our food security, locally produced animal feed. Their frass, which is their manure, we turned into organic fertilizer. And their fat, we invented a process, a patented process, that we turned into aviation fuel.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is very interesting because
From
from flies to fuel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Food to fly to fuel.
Food waste to fly to fuel.
Very interesting.
that.